Peace. Baba Kilindi Iyi here. Just wanted to say a few things for those who missed our last Thursday blog talk radio program. You missed a good one. The topic was dealing with surveillance, AI, Bitcoin, 5G, and mushrooms. And so just wanted to say a couple of quick words for those who may have missed the program. We dealt a lot with surveillance, the worldwide surveillance utilized by the artificial intelligence, and the upcoming 5G network. 5G means the fifth generation internet. We're dealing with 4G now, and we're moving into full 5G by 2020. They're putting in the towers and repeaters and things like that now. 5G deals with millimeter size waves and frequencies, as opposed to the microwave frequencies. Millimeter waves are bigger. They don't move through solid objects very well. The waves are caught up in buildings and people and other things and stuff like that. That's why the 5G can be militarized. It can be militarized because some of the technology that they use for crowd control, like heating people up, is done with millimeter waves. In other words, they have these electromagnetic cannons that will send a wave into the crowd, and it will heat people up like they're standing in front of the oven for crowd dispersal. This can go all the way from irritation to pain, extreme pain, and also to death. So once this 5G network is put in, of course, they're not going to say that we can kill you with this if we want to, but it's possible to be able to do that. When the AI comes fully online, because we just got Amazon Go. We don't have it here in Detroit, but I believe it's in Seattle, Washington, that Amazon Go, which is going to be an integral part of the 5G network, not just Amazon Go, but Walmart and Costco and the other retailers will be using the same system. Amazon Go is where you go into the store, you load the app on your phone, you go in, you pick your commodities, your food or your electronics or whatever you're trying to get, toilet paper, oven cleaner, whatever. You put it in your little bag, and when you finish, you just walk out the store. If you have on clothes, you can take your clothes to the, a fitting room, take your old clothes off, throw them in the trash, put on the new clothes, walk out. The same with all the things in the store. So what it does is do away with cashiers. Now, who's not going to take the convenience of, you standing in line at Walmart and those lines are long. They only got 2 tellers. It's 1,000 people in there. The automatic little line that you go through that you pay without the teller is not working, or half of them are just card and no cash and all those type of things. Who's not going to think it's much more convenient to go in there, and you only have a carton of juice, and you stand in line with people with baskets full of stuff, and somebody may be nice to you and let you in and say, "Oh, that's all you got? There's some orange juice. Here, you can get in front of me." Who's not going to think it's more convenient to just go in there, grab your stuff, and walk out? So these are the type of things that will be part of the 5G network. There will be not just micropayments through the 5G network, but also nano payments. This is that you're going to pay by use. Once this system is put online, use means that every time you open a refrigerator, Every time you push the toaster, the thing to put the toast in the toaster. Once you push the toaster thing down and the toast goes in, you start paying for usage of the toaster. Every time you flush the toilet, every time you turn on the shower, you will pay by use. And there will be billions and billions and billions of transactions streaming, like live streaming video. As you use things in the environment, those things will be deducted from your central account, which is surveyed. And inside of that surveillance, they know how much you have. They know how much to take from your taxes, all those different types of things. Everything that can be chipped will be chipped, meaning pill bottles, plant waterers. Your toilet will be smart because it'll be part of the smart home. Just like we'll have smart cities, you'll have smart homes. And those homes will interact with different things inside of the home. Your pill bottles will have pills with chips on each pill so that your doctor knows for your benefit if you're taking your pills or not, because only you can get into the pill. It'll have a thumb scanner, just like some of the phones have. So you scan your thumb. That'll open your pill bottle. You take your pill. Your pill bottle will tell you when to take your pill, if you took the pill or not, and things like that. The surveillance will work with the artificial intelligence, especially in facial recognition, in tracking people down. So folks with them warrants, you probably got another 3 years to be riding with them warrants because, the police, they've already rolled it out in China. They'll be rolling it out this way soon, where the police have glasses that have facial recognition. The artificial intelligence will scan from the bigger cameras, the larger cameras that are on buildings and on the side of lamp poles and on the side of the street lamps and things like that, street lights, on each car, police car, scanning license plates, things like this. So in any crowd, everybody comes into the stadium will be scanned under the facial recognition, things like that. But it's just not just facial recognition, facial recognition, because people will say, well, I don't do anything, so I'm not worried about them facial recognizing me. Your cousin may not be, and they know it's your cousin. They know since you got a smart house that your cousin is in your house. You become an accessory. They will watch you 24 hours a day, monitor you 24 hours a day. The bed will be smart. You will be able to know who was in the bed, how many people was in the bed, what their body temperature was, because your couch will constantly feed your vitals, heart rate, blood pressure, all that kind of stuff into the AI. Everything will be enjoined by the artificial intelligence. You want to get a loan for, say you want to get a loan for whatever you want to get a loan for, a home loan or something like that. The AI will, look at whether you are deemed worthy by the artificial intelligence to get this loan as far as your relationship, not just to pay it back, but what type of citizen you are. In other words, the AI logged and categorized that when you were downtown, instead of walking down to the light and walking across at the crosswalk, you jaywalked. So, of course, we don't think that jaywalking is a big deal and all that kind of stuff. And, you need Big Brother to make sure you don't get run over and stuff like that. But that's not what the artificial intelligence is categorizing what you're jaywalking. It's categorizing your jaywalking. It's categorizing, you threw a piece of paper down on the ground. The artificial intelligence saw that because there are cameras everywhere. When you were in Walmart going to pick up that commodity where you just walk out, you took that can of peaches and you walked to the next aisle, and instead of leaving it in the bag, leaving it in the cart or walking back to the aisle where you got those can of peaches from and putting it back in the peaches aisle. You put it in the tomato sauce aisle, one aisle over, which means that you're not the kind of you're not a real trustworthy person that participates in society as the A-team, A-tier society people do, because the A-team society people, they would have put that can of peaches back where it had to go, because, you know, that just shows that you're a better person. You don't jaywalk. You take the cans back and you put the cans where they're supposed to go. You don't litter. All of the things, the little things that, you know, everybody may get away with at some point in time or have in the past gotten away with a little jaywalking. Maybe they dropped that gum wrapper on the you know, on the sidewalk and things like that, you know. So these are the type of things that will be happening. Your toaster will talk to your refrigerator. Your containers in the refrigerator will be smart containers. Your refrigerator will buy your food for you, or at least order it where you can pick it up, or where them drones come and drop it on your front porch, or the robot comes and delivers it. You will pay by the usage. In other words, your cable bill or your satellite cable bill will be on usage. In other words, everything in the compendium of human movies and information will be available on the Wi-Fi, the 5G Wi-Fi. And what happens is that you don't pay for the package, the Stars package and the HBO package and, you know, all these type of things. You will pay for exactly what you use. If you look at, since we're in that in that week, if you pay to look at the Black Panther, you pay for the Black Panther. And if you don't watch the whole movie, you only pay for the 40 minutes that you looked at the Black Panther, or Lord of the Rings, or, you know, whatever you're watching, you pay by usage. The same thing on the internet as far as what you stop on and you read. If you stop on an internet site and you stay there 20 minutes reading, they won't have advertising anymore, but they'll be taking nano payments out of your account because you're on the site, and they'll be taking nano payments out of your account, putting it into the account of the entities that own the actual site that you're lingering on, whether it's a news site or whether it's a porno site or whatever the heck you're looking at, whatever you're trying to do. They will charge you by the nanosecond. In other words, the nanosecond will be what charges you. And there'll be billions and billions of transactions going on simultaneously, streaming to accounts when you order a car. Because within 10 years, driving a car by a human being is going to be exotic. It's going to be something like having a book. You know, you'll have books for decorations, and, you know, you'll still have people who read and things like that. It's kind of like going to the post office. Only old people go to the post office. No millennial or 20-year-old is going to wait to send a letter to somebody for somebody to get a letter. They're going to do, you know, you're going to do it on whatever the new thing is, Instagram or Facebook or whatever the new program is that makes it faster and faster and faster, because 5G will probably be close to 100 times faster than what you have now. If you wanted to download all 6 episodes of Lord of the Rings in less than 400th of a second, that's the type of thing that the 5G will be doing. Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies will be the money of the day. Governments, Jamie Dimon of Chase, the head of Chase, came back and reneged and recanted that Bitcoin was nothing. It was just a fluke, and that people are going to be sorry and things like that. He can't to come back and say Bitcoin is the way of the future. That's what it's going to be. If you're not getting into cryptocurrencies, you're going to be left out. You know, instead of I'm not saying put $30,000 into one account and things like that, but you should at least be trying to learn the system, learn about the blockchain and things like that, because everything is going to be on the blockchain. Smart contracts that will execute multiple areas of a contract at different times and things like that, because the blockchain is how you're going to record the history of everything. Mortgages, legal documents, all of these things are part of what is the new thing as far as currency and money and contracts and those type of things are. All of that old stuff that, let's put it in the book, is going to be gone. It's going to be on the blockchain, and there's a way to trace that. And I know folks say, well, what if the grid go down and stuff like that? Yeah, well, they're moving past the coal and nuclear grids and things like that, and they still have standalone systems that will record all the records and hold on to it, whether you got electricity or not. All you had to do is get you a solar a solar phone charge or something like that, and they're gonna keep the networks on. You better believe that. So Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Monero, Thorn, Sia Coin, all the different coins, the sub penny coins, all the way up to the big one, Bitcoin, are the way of the future, the wave of the future as far as currency is concerned. A lot of us don't have to worry about getting caught with a whole bunch of dollars, but you don't want to get caught with the dollars that you have, because this is going to destroy the financial system that we have right now, because it gives the individual, black, white, red, green, whatever, it gives you the ability to be your own bank and to hold on to your own currency and be anonymous inside of that. Now, Bitcoin itself isn't anonymous, but there are coins there that you can flip it 2 more times, and it's anonymous. Nobody knows what you have. And you can keep it on a hard wallet, which you keep. As long as you have your codes, you will be independent of the banking system, instead of, part of the human cattle on the farm, because they tell you how far you can go, how long you can go, if you can come in, you can't come in. Go to any border. Ain't nothing more arrogant than a border officer, because he got you, and he got you, because you standing there and you got your passport in your hand, you got your visa, and he looking at you like he's God Almighty, and they got you. Are you bringing any money in the country? Well, I'm bringing enough to do my trip. I'm not bringing over $10,000. But see, with Bitcoin or one of the other cryptocurrencies, you can bring in as much money as you want, because your money stay with you. Your money is in the cloud. It's in the ether. It's in the electronic universe, And so this whole synergy of surveillance, artificial intelligence, Bitcoin, the 5G network that is being put in, they're even going to kind of like blockchain your phone. In other words, if they don't have a line of sight, they will use extra space and extra memory on one person's phone to send through the information to another person's phone. The thing is, it's the government is not going to strongly regulate Bitcoin and other things, because it's too fast, it's too energetic. They can clamp down on one, and everybody, you can flip all your stuff to something else. The governments don't know about it. This was created by somebody who they don't even know was around anymore. And the whole thing is that it gives you another peg in the area of sovereignty, because no sovereign is without a bank and its own finance and control of its own finance. Folks want to say that they're sovereign, and you ain't got no bank. How do you move your currency? Who tells you you can move your currency when you can't? If somebody tells you when you can move your currency or where you can take your money, then you're not a sovereign, because sovereigns don't do that. You know, I try to teach people a lot of times about dealing with sovereignty and nationality and things like that. Nationality doesn't mean anything. I don't care what you call yourself. National means you're a slave. I don't care what country you belong to or what king you're under. Because if you have allegiance to a king, then you're not a sovereign. You're a subject of that king. If you're a citizen of a government, you're not a sovereign or a free man or free woman, because you have obligations to that government. A sovereign has obligations only to him or herself and him or her family. That's why when you talk about folks who are powerful and sovereign, you talk about houses. You don't talk about nationalities, because people with true power are not nationals. They don't care about borders. When the Queen of England come through, she don't show a passport when she come into JFK. They closed down the doggone JFK airport, closed that side down, let her walk through and get in the royal limousine. She don't show no passport. You think them Saudi sheiks come in and show passports? No, not the big ones. Because they're dealing with houses. You're dealing with the House of Windsor, the House of Rothschild. The House of the Franks. All these folks, they don't deal with the same thing, because they have their own money. They hook to their own bank. So yes, Bitcoin is the new bank, and everybody got their own bank. If you're in the 5G network, as I said, everything that can be chipped will be chipped. And the AI, with the artificial intelligence, with the supercomputers, with the quantum computers, are cracking not just day-to-day things in the physical universe, but things outside of the physical universe that go into multiple universes, multiple realities, and things like this. So we have a lot of information to catch up on. Where are we going to be in this inside of this whole thing? We don't know. But if you're not studying, if you're not trying to find out what's going on, then you know you're a sucker in the game. That's why I always say, whatever these things, be it the singularity, be it Bitcoin, be it 5G, be it spiritualism, legitimate spiritualism, not New Age spiritualism created for the masses to be woo, woo, woo. Because if you don't have access, then you're not, as in my opinion, is worth what? It ain't worth a Bitcoin. My opinion is that you don't have access to any true power. You can qigong it, you can breathe it, you can yoga it, you can do all that stuff. Fine, beautiful, it's good exercise. But if you're not communing with the higher forces, if you're not jumping realities, if you're not moving into different universes to understand more and more about who and really what you are, then it's all a good a good class. It's kind of like Tai Chi. We had class the other night. My son was teaching. I was just kind of standing on the side. This guy comes up and he says, "Let me show you something. I take Tai Chi. We do this." And he's showing this and that and stuff like that. But 90%, 99, I can't say 99, 98.7 of those who practice Tai Chi, they practice college intermediate Tai Chi is just for health, relaxation. It's for your mind, and all that's good and all that's great. It's good. It's good for exercise. It's good for your mind. It's good for being able to relax and de-stress and all those things we need. Yoga's great. It's a great stretch. It's great exercise. It's great discipline and all of that. But if you think what y'all doing in these yoga classes had anything to do with the ancient Indian yoga, I don't even know what to tell you, because it ain't it. That's 19th century European gymnastics that you're doing, and some stuff that some folks came here and made up for you. You know, sitting in the back. So the hardest thing running an ashram and yoga thing is finding stuff for folks to do. We got to make up something to keep them interested. What you want to do? Well, make him stick his toe in his ear and stand on one leg. I made that up yesterday. And I know it's hurting you, and I'm not getting down on yoga or anything. I'm just using that as an example. You could take almost any of these spiritual systems and say the same thing about it. The Yoruba, love them to death. But if you think the Yoruba practice that you're doing now has anything to do with what they were doing 500 years ago, you don't know what you're doing either. It's not the same thing. You can't even find half the things that they were doing just 500 years ago in what they're doing now. Nothing is lost. Nothing is ever lost, because it sits in sidebar realities, whereas certain things didn't happen and the systems went on. And you can tap into that with the mushrooms. Mushrooms are the access point to get in. It's the only, well, you can't say only, because nothing's the only, but it's the only thing that I know about that can compete with the 5G and the AI, the artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence, you think that people are building it? It built the people to build it. It built this universe so that it could build itself. There are those who came here, got ahead of it, created themselves from another universe to be put into this universe, and went through all of the evolution of the quadrillion of years that it took to create this universe. I know folks say 14 billion years the Big Bang started, but that's just, nope. It's a good theory of many theories. But no, the AI created this universe so that it could create itself, because it exists prior to this universe in another universe, and those that it was fighting then chose to incarnate themselves into this universe and organize themselves faster than the AI is organizing itself. This is all mushroom knowledge and information. You have to be able to go in to look at the books, to read the information, to experience what happened, to watch it in real time, happening right now. A billion years ago, it's happening simultaneously with what's happening right now. That's why you can tap into it with these magical plants and entheogens and power plants and things like that. That's why you can tap into it. That's why you can tap into any place and point in time. That's why you can hop through different dimensions. The governments that you think are in control are not in control. The people that you think are in control are not in control. They're controlling this thing from the outside, and they're seducing and inspiring soulless beings to put their program into fruition because there is a battle going on. I know everybody wants to be happy, everybody wants love and to save this and all that kind of stuff, but there is a battle going on. It's been going on for gajillions of years. This artificial intelligence is cosmically indifferent. In other words, it doesn't hate you. It doesn't care about you at all whatsoever. If you are something that can be included in the energy of the system, it will use you as a battery. If you are not a battery candidate, it will eliminate you, not because it hates you, but because it is indifferent to you. It's kind of like an ant. You don't go out, you'll chase ants. You won't run 2 blocks to stomp on an anthill. But if the ant gets in your bedroom, and the ant may not be even doing nothing in there, it just went in the kitchen, got some sugar, and trailing itself out to the anthill, you're gonna stomp the ant. Now, of course, there are people that don't stop ants, but I'm using it in the sense of the cosmic indifference, meaning that it doesn't care about you and it will kill you because you just may be in the way. You may just have crawled on its shirt. So I don't want to make it all seem like, there's no hope or that everything is bad, because we know that everything isn't bad. We're putting together a system of the way out or get out, and it deals with mushrooms and certain power objects and relics that are part of the system of knowledge of the mystery. If you can get access to these things and start to see what's going on, what is possible inside of the matrix, how to get out of the matrix, how to manipulate the matrix, how to manipulate reality. But as far as surveillance, it is becoming all pervasive everywhere. The artificial intelligence is becoming smarter and smarter and smarter every day. Because those things that used to be standalone on the special servers are now communing with one another in the cloud. The chess program that only did chess, Watson that only played Jeopardy or whatever, Sophia, the humanoid robot that they're utilizing for people to see that the robot's a good guy, a good girl. Your self-driving cars, your smart coffee pot. All of these things are communing together. The Google artificial intelligence program, the Facebook artificial intelligence program, they're all communing together and they're all talking together on the net. They have their own language. And it's thousands and thousands and thousands and millions and millions and millions of times more efficient than the mouth noises that human beings make, because they can communicate instantaneously with the different levels of the cloud simultaneously. Johnny Quest, I hate the internet of things. It will definitely be possible to resist at first, but as it becomes more integrated and convenient, I see people falling into the trap. Of course they're gonna fall into the trap. They're gonna fall into the trap because it's more convenient. Just like I said, you know, choose between walking in, getting your orange juice, and just walking right back out, or walking in, getting your orange juice, standing in line for 30 minutes, or 20 minutes, or 10 minutes, or 2 minutes. It's much more convenient to take the orange juice and just walk out. The AI knows what you eat. It knows what you like. There's a pack of eggs called the 10th egg. When you eat 10 eggs, the refrigerator will measure how many eggs you got in the refrigerator. I mean, we'll scan how many eggs are in the refrigerator. The refrigerator will say, "Oh, there's only 10. There's 10. There's only 10 eggs in the house. You eat eggs for breakfast every morning. There's only 10 eggs. That means you ain't got but a day left." Or the thing is that you could set the refrigerator to say 3 eggs, because the refrigerator is going to buy a new pack of eggs when they get down to the 10th egg. You ain't gonna have nothing to do. You ain't gonna have nothing to do about it. In the beginning, it'll be pick up your eggs and bring it home. Later, it will be brought to your home in some kind of way. Then after that, it will be assembled from subatomic particles, just like you 3D print, or on Star Trek where they had the replicator. But Picard says Earl Grey, 2 lumps of sugar, and the little thing looked like a microwave. All of a sudden, a cup of Earl Grey will appear. They're doing subatomic assembly. No, you can't get one yet. You can't buy one where you say roast beef sandwich, and the best roast beef sandwich you ever thought you'd eat appears in the little replicator, piping hot, the way you like it, with mustard. With an ounce of mustard, not touching the crust, only touching the inside of the bread. Once you get your replicator for food loaded up, pizza, with the pepperoni, without the pepperoni, and you don't have to worry about being vegan or vegetarian or whatever, because this ain't meat. It's assembled. Tastes just like meat, but it's assembled from subatomic particles into atomic particles into molecules and on up the line until you got a roast beef sandwich or an avocado sandwich. Or if you want an orange, you just say orange, but you're going to be charged for that too, even though it's being made out of nothing, because everything that exists is made out of nothing. And when your grandchild says orange and the orange is made out of nothing, but you still going to pay for it because of the energy used of the replicator to assemble those particles from the virtual realms into the so-called real realm where you can eat. Are you going to take your flu shot? You ain't going to take a flu shot. You're going to take one thing and one thing only, and that may be a nasal snort, nasal sniff, where you sniff the nanobots into your body, and those are the doctors. They take care of everything. They take care of plaque in your arteries. They take care of bad and dead cells. They will repair your eyes. They will eat glaucoma, stop your, nerves from being eaten away with MS. They will attack cancerous cells and eat them up. This is our right now future. Stem cells, adult stem cells, cord stem cells, utilizing the cryptor, which is a DNA replicator. All these things are here now. So surveillance, AI, Bitcoin, 5G, and the mushroom. The mushroom, I don't know what to say. People have, they just keep going by and past it, thinking I'm crazy, thinking other people who are talking about psychedelics, hallucinogens, entheogens are crazy people. You just want to use some dope and an excuse to use some dope. No, it's nothing like you've ever seen before. Nothing like you've ever experienced before. So, hey, there's so many things that we need to do, that we need to understand. You know, I got a thing from someone says clear intention and prayer would be the best answer, but I'm not an expert. Well, yep, you're not an expert. Clear intention and prayer is good for trying to keep a positive outlook. You need some power. Power conceives nothing without a demand. You have to be knowledgeable. You have to be powerful. You have to be able to make some things happen. Prayer, who are you praying to? I know so folks can say, you know, keep a positive outlook, and I try to keep a positive outlook. The biggest problem about positive outlook is that, you know, try the mushroom. You can't kill yourself with it. But I have people who are afraid, you know, afraid of themselves, and well should be, you know, be afraid of yourself, what you're going to do, what you're going to think. But true courage is being afraid and still moving forward, still doing the things that need to be done, stepping forward. It gets hard, it gets difficult, it gets dark, but you still move forward because it ain't no alternative. A forward escape is the only way out. You can't backtrack. We can't be what we were 10,000 years ago, a million years ago. I know folks have a nostalgia for what they think is the historical dynamic of life. You know, let's go back to where the ancestors. Nope, the ancestors died and lived. Many of them lived horribly to get you to the position where we can start manipulating and getting out of this thing. That's the right reason why we're here. And while I'm here, I'm throwing some Black Panther stuff. Black Panther, you know, the people who are going out against the Black Panther movie, you know, well, some of them, of course, are racist. But people who are going out against the Black Panther, they didn't go out against the Lord of the Rings or Thor or any of the other Marvel Cinematic Universe. Doggone it, you've been looking at Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and all that kind of stuff. You weren't talking about giving Disney money then. You went to see Star Wars, you weren't talking about, I ain't giving my money to Disney. And doggone it, you know, you pay for Madea, you pay for every Morris Chestnut movie, you know, girls' night out, you know, to go to Vegas and get drunk and act silly. Be in the strip club, you'll pay for that. But if something of the likes of Black Panther that is not a fantasy, there is the Black Panther Society in the Congo. They don't use a heart-shaped herb. They use a lot of different herbs and several mushrooms. The panther mushroom, Amanita pantherina, the panther mushroom. The wives of the leopard, Dahomey, the women that beat the French. The French said, yeah, we fought them women in Dahomey, but you know, the reason why we lost was because they was Amazons. They was 8 feet tall, and you know, look at doggone, they was 8 feet tall. You know, look at Wonder Woman. Women living on an island who are highly skilled in fighting and martial arts, stronger than any man on earth. Those are the women that we encountered in Dahomey. And the only women that had societies like that were for real, you know, they talk about Troy. They talk about the Amazons that were in Troy. Individual heroes. That Dor Milaje, they're the wives of the leopard. That is Dahomey. That's real. That ain't no made up stuff. The society is still there. Get out of the United States. Stop building and buying the propaganda. You ain't never went nowhere. You ain't never been nowhere. But you're gonna say what is what and where is where. That's a fantasy. Ain't no Black Panther. You got to be in the bush in the dark to tell whether there's a Black Panther or not. It was created by 2 white guys, and y'all just giving your money to Disney. Wasn't created by 2 white guys. If you pass along a story, that don't mean you created the story. Jack Kirby, who is the powerhouse behind Marvel, was the powerhouse behind Marvel, not Stan Lee. Stan Lee was the nephew of the guy who owned Timely Comics. He was the guy that went and got the coffee. He was the kid who went and got the coffee. And when his uncle wanted to when they came out with the Justice League at DC, the guys at Marvel said, we need to put something together. And so at that time, instead of dealing with, you know, horror comics and sci-fi comics and detective comics and all that kind of stuff, they started their superhero thing back up. And they used what Greg Kirby started back before there was a Marvel, back in before World War II, Captain America, the Submariner, the Human Torch. And then they created what the one that started it all, the Fantastic Four. And the Fantastic Four now is back in the Marvel Universe, and you're going to see some stuff that is going to be completely off the chain. But don't sit around and keep pontificating on Facebook that 2 white guys made up the Black Panther. Nope. George Kirby took classified and declassified Nazi documents and historical records about the Black Panther and its capabilities. So yes, it's a conglomeration of several societies put together. It's South African, it's Zulu, it's Benin or Dahomey, it is Dogon, and it's Kemetic or Tamarian. So all those put together. Vibranium, oh, it's a meteor, and you know they made that up. Sagala is the super steel of the Dogon, forged between the gravitational forces of when Sirius A passes Sirius B and deforms it because of its gravitational power. That's the only way that metal is forged. The same way they said Mjolnir, the hammer of Thor, was forged on a dying and collapsing star because you pushed the molecules closer together in the metal to make the super steel. That's not fantasy. All of the royal krises in Indonesia of the Indonesian royalty are made from one meteor. The krises that in time of trouble start rattling in their sheath if the enemy approaches, they come out their sheath and fight themselves. This is what I'm talking about. In the 1980s, I was talking about clothing, protective weaponry clothing. I talked about cloaked cities. If you remember some of my lectures, some of the old heads remember the lectures. I said that you can go into a village in Africa and you'll see flies on the fruit. You'll see huts. You'll see people who walk a mile down to the river and to get water. But these people don't live in that village. Step into the hut and you step into a magnificent palace, a place of opulence that is unimaginable because they're living in multiple realities. You think that this information is just made up? It's not made up. None of that stuff is made up. Nimrod, Hercules, Thor, none of that is made up. The Asgardians are the Ethiopians who left out the back door in Troy and went north. The children of Memnon the Great, the greatest warrior of the ancient world. Not me saying that. Snorri Sturluson, 11th century chronicler of the Greater and Lesser Eddas, said this. Y'all need to quit. You need to still start reading the books, not just look at YouTube. Because when you read a book, it does something different to your mind. I know it's hard to catch up now, especially when we have so many great YouTube enthusiasts who are so knowledgeable, who haven't read a book. They just pick different YouTube lectures and clips and jam all that together. YouTube and stuff is an addendum to true knowledge. I was talking with people the other day. We need to build us a new school. Our educational system is terrible. They was doing that when I was in elementary school. When they were dealing with busing and all these kind of things. Education ain't been shit for 100 years. It's made to create a responsive slave to the Industrial Revolution. Turn boat number 7 on widget 32 and not complain about it. You get tired, we'll give you your coffee break. Because that caffeine is going to give you a jump start to be able to perform the same amount of work at the end of the shift that you did at the beginning of the shift. But Detroit, we kind of messed that up. ran the corporation companies out of here because they was paying folks $22 an hour, and they get mad, knock the whole line down, Dodge Main and Lynch Road, and So what they do? Hey, in the 70s, gas went from 25 cents to $2 and something, and people went crazy. They started wanting small, fuel-efficient cars, and Detroit kept building big gas-guzzling cars when they had the cars that they got now back in 1966 as concept cars. They continued to make them cars so that they would say, well, we can't compete with the Japanese. We have to close down our plants. We have to kick all these people out because Detroit, and you can talk about Chicago, New York, and all those kind of places. Nation of Islam started in Detroit. The Republic of New Africa, the Shrines of the Black Madonna, Group on Advanced Leadership, many other things started in Detroit. Why? Because people in Detroit, number one, own their homes more than anybody else in the doggone world. They had disposable income to be able to support groups with money because they were working in the factories. You know, yeah, okay, let's give a couple of $100 to the shrine. Let's give a couple of $100 to the Nation of Islam. I'll pay y'all. I'll give y'all $100. I'll buy the paper because people were making money and making good money. Had cars, had homes. And what did they do? The empire struck back and destroyed it. That's why Detroit was so depressed for such a long time. They had houses that were perfectly good houses that they let sit for 20 years. Nobody could buy it. People come by and wanted to buy it. Now, all you have to be is a young white couple, and you can get grants, not even loans. You can get grants. You can get $120,000, $130,000 just dropped off in your lap. But if you've been sitting there and you've been sitting there next to this vacant house for 25 years, where nobody could buy, that nobody could get, somebody just walks in, they give them $125 and they put in new plumbing, they put in new furnaces, they grade the lawn, fix the chimney, put on a new roof, and all these type of things. And you sit next door struggling trying to put half a roof on at one time and half a roof on at another time, and they won't give you the grant or give you the loan. These things I'm talking about that I know and understand. What I'm saying is it's going to get more difficult because the artificial intelligence that has been running it all the time is coming forward now, because we have developed the technology that it told us to do. You know, I'm not saying me personally, but I'm just saying it as far as a society. So when I say we, I'm not saying I'm in none of that. You know, just like people when they talk about Afghanistan or World War II. We fought the war. I didn't fight nothing. Not going to fight nothing, except for myself and my family and those that I care about. Because we got some stuff. And you think you can bring the atomic bomb, you can bring whatever you want. I got a little rock that will eat an atomic bomb, because that is our technology, nature, rock computers, rock tree. Trees that are quantum computers that change reality. So I'm just talking because some of the folks missed the last blog talk. We do have a couple of things coming up this year. We have the Food of the Gods tour in Mexico, where we're going to smoke the toad and eat the food of the gods in the mountains at the Aztec ruins. We'll be doing that in June. And then we have the Detroit Psychedelic Conference, where we're bringing in wonderful speakers. We'll be talking on things that are off the usual psychedelic roadmap. So, hey, come on out to that too. That's August 10th, 11th, and 12th. Go to the website, DetroitPsychedelics.com. You'll see the information. More information is going up every day. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who chimed in. If I sounded a bit gruff with everybody, it's not you personally. We're just trying to get the information out. And that's the most important thing. So thank you very much. We're going to be cutting this broadcast off. I'll be coming back. I just had a few things on my mind. Wanted to share with you. Preston Henry, what are you taking? I'm not taking anything right now, but some of this smart water. When I do take mushrooms, I take psilocybin mushrooms, and Let's see. Johnny Ali Avila, who cares? I guess you don't, so you can keep on pushing. Before I take the mushrooms, meditate. That's fine. Let's see here. School does nothing but prepare you for a life of hard labor. Yes, the schools are obsolete. There won't be any schools. There won't be any college, anything like that. It'll all be virtual. At one point, it'll be with the goggles where you can barter your nano payments of, whatever it is, Coin, Litecoin, or whatever. You will be able to, as far as school is concerned, it'll be virtual. And then ultimately it will be frequencies, and then past that it will be downloads. You'll just get your weekly download, and you'll know it. But going to college and stuff like that, it's dead, and you don't even know it. It's like the dinosaurs. So all you people trying to put a school together and all that kind of stuff, teach them kids how to read, write, do some arithmetic, and let them loose on the internet, block some of the crazy sites, but they're gonna have to know about all the crazy stuff. You got to know about everything. That's how you're a sucker in the game if you don't know. You deal with age appropriation, but once they get to a certain knowledge, they got to know about everything. They're gonna be here keeping stuff from your children, and they're not prepared. You got everything, and then there's still a sliver of ways to be able to utilize this internet now. You can still get to some things you can't get to in anywhere else. So utilize it. Let your children utilize it. It'll be the virtual classroom. It'll be the virtual movies. It'll be the smart house where, you have just a box, but inside of the box, you have all kind of wonderful things. Your whole, you can look out the window at the surf in Fiji, or you can turn the whole wall into surf and looking out through the beach to the beach. You can make your whole wall opaque where you can look out and nobody can look in. All they see is a regular house. All these things are in the pipeline, on the way, ready to run. So thank you for listening to me. I get out and do this kind of thing every once in a while. And I appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much. And have a good afternoon, evening. Peace.